Television Network, TSPN. And now back to... Hi, everyone, and we're back with Supervisor Richard Forrester discussing tomorrow's agenda. Richard, we were talking just a little bit about the gaming, the monies from the different rancherias or the Indian tribal gaming. And so there's no money left in the fund. And so there's no money coming back to the counties.
Right.
And so the county is going to address the tribes. And is this happening with all the counties?
It is.
Okay.
Those tribes that are paying mitigation dollars out there through the Special Distribution Fund will no longer be doing that unless they reach voluntary agreements with the tribes that have casino operations.
Was it the board's opinion, or maybe everywhere, that the tribes need to mitigate what happens to the counties before they pay the non-gaming tribes?
Well, no, because that agreement is not out there with the tribes, and we don't anticipate that ever happening, that say you have to fully mitigate. So if we could come back around to that, we have an agenda item coming up that we'll talk about. But next up, we have the off-highway vehicle grant funding. This item is coming back again. Sheriff's Department will apply for this grant. It's not a lot of money, but it will help to pay for a deputy that will go up and basically be on a quad, it sounds like, most of the time out in the 30 miles of trails and roads that are in El Dorado County. There are some routes that are in Calaveras Ranger District, but I think most of the deputy, I think there's funding in here for 2 positions for a sheriff's deputy and for part-time for a sheriff's sergeant. It says that they intend to use the OHV, or off-highway vehicle, in lieu of tax funds as a county match for this program. The match, I believe, is around $5,000 for this program. Okay. The overall amount we're going to get is not a lot. It's $20,224, but there is a $5,056 match involved. So this is a pretty good program, though. It's the way it says that project coverage within the Amador County project area, there's approximately 70 miles of dirt roads that are open to all types of motor vehicles. Of that, it sounds like about 30 miles will be the primary area that they'll cover that are the most accessible areas. The rest of the areas will probably be covered by search and rescue when they go to get people out of trouble.
Okay, and those monies come from the California off-highway vehicles funds, right? It's not federal money.
No, this is California, and this grant was actually we were alerted to it by a local gentleman who works in lobbying for the off-highway vehicle industry in Sacramento. So thanks a lot to Dave Pickett for that. We have, and we'll get back to the budget issue again, Assembly Bill 475. This would actually have our board support Assemblyman Bigelow's bill, Assembly Bill 475, that involves tribal gaming. This involves, the governor has gone into negotiations with Jackson Rancheria. Jackson Rancheria had one of the first compacts in 1999. It's a 20-year compact, so it still has a few years left on it, but they're getting ahead of the schedule because it actually has to go through our state legislature, be ratified, and then has to go to be signed by the governor, has to go to the feds through Indian Gaming Regulatory Act and be approved by the feds. So they got ahead of the ball here. We feel, as a county, there's some good things in the renegotiated compact. Part of it is that the tribe would get credit. I don't know how much money the tribe pays to the state. That's somewhat of a hidden item. But let's say, for instance, for talking just here, it's $10 million. The tribe would get a 40% credit off of what they have to pay to the state for everything that they do locally. So if the tribe, let's say the tribe has to mitigate the jail for $1 million, they would only have to pay the state then. I'm not going to say only. That sounds pretty bad. They would have to pay the state $600,000. We would get, and they would get credit for $400,000. So it's a pretty good deal. We feel the language in there is good. We don't think any tribe is going to bind themselves and say, we're going to put this in writing that we're going to give this much. So we think this is the next best thing to that, and county will take a position one way or another on Assembly Bill 475. that gets back to the budget issue. How is the tribe going to fully mitigate? They feel that this is a big part of it.
Okay.
So, next up, and we talked about this during the break, but the State Water Board Grazing Regulator Action Project, or GRAP. You know, they've already started, the ag industry and a lot of other people have already started a term out there, and it's called Scrap the GRAP.
Scrap the GRAP?
Scrap the GRAP, because most of us feel this is a program that doesn't need to be there. It's another way for the state to get another regulatory program to get more funding to the state so the State Water Board can grow even bigger. And this is through the State Water Resources Control Board. They'll have each of their individual water boards controlling or going in and regulating the actions. They've had stakeholder groups already, and this has been, it started out really non-transparency. They have really done this under the cloak of darkness and not been out there with the doors wide open saying, here's all the information. Right. They haven't told us why we need this program. The only thing they've said is because we can do it. Okay. That's not good enough. And are we going to be able to stop it? Well, they've already been told in numerous stakeholder groups we don't need this, and they're still moving forward. But the stakeholder groups, they started with environmental and environmental justice stakeholders. They had that group, and then they had the ranch owners, public agencies, and academia, and 3 other stakeholder groups. Except for it's kind of somewhat of a closed process where not everyone was invited. It was almost the first ones with their hands up.
So did you did the county know that these were going on?
We knew this through RCRC, and RCRC's taking the lead on this. They attended the Reading hearing. They attended, which was better done than the San Luis Obispo hearing, which the 2 members who were there, and that's the other thing, water board members aren't even showing up. It's just basically a couple staff members. They're not even taking notes at the meeting in San Luis Obispo. They took no notes. They didn't record the meeting. So how do you memorialize what was said there? So
this kind of sounds like some of the meetings that I've attended where they seem to already know what they want before the hearings.
That's what it looks like. And what they say they're doing is they're looking at the potential impacts of water quality from grazing to include sediment loading and the introduction of bacteria and nutrients to streams and wetlands, and the physical alteration of the land that can be harmed from habitat and wildlife. Well, how are you going to keep the wildlife out? The wildlife go in those streams to drink, just like cattle have. There's been no problem because most time cattlemen, sheepmen have to be good stewards of the land. If they're not, then they know that they're going to lose that ability. So most of them try to take care of business. This is just going to be one more type of regulation. You know, there was a letter in our packet from the Sierra County Board of Supervisors, and I think they said it very well there, that the State Water Board already has sufficient programs in place for effective regulatory options. Right now they have the Port of Cologne Water Quality Act, the TMDL standards, the Irrigated Lands Program, the Clean Water Act, the existing regulatory framework inclusive of waste discharge orders when impaired water bodies or operations that contribute to non-point discharge can be addressed. There's 6 areas right there. How much more regulation, how much more control do you need when you've already got these programs in place? So it's going to be duplicative from the start, and that's what a lot of the commenters, there were 36 commenters in San Luis Obispo, that's what a lot of them said. It doesn't look like you need this program. You're creating something that you already have, so why are you doing it? Just because you can. That's what it sounds like. So this is another venture from the state into an area that, you know, Governor Brown ought to be getting involved in this, just saying, we don't need this, stop. But I'm not sure he's going to take that, that route. The other thing that came from the state in their presentation is that they implied that there is strong scientific evidence supporting all 1,000 listings of water bodies. Well, the strong scientific evidence is not there because they didn't present any of that evidence at these meetings. They're making statements and not backing them up by fact. So we think that's what needs to happen. This scrap program, I don't know if we're going to be able to slow it down. The other thing they said is just like AB 885, the wastewater program that they tried to implement, everyone got up in arms over it, and that's what we feel is going to happen here, because you have a program that's not being introduced in the open, it's not needed, people don't understand why you're even doing that, so the State Water Board is going to be attacked on this thing, and it's going to run the same process, I believe, that AB 885 did, where it wasn't until the ninth hour that people really got up in arms. Because a lot of people aren't aware of this right now.
Usually it's not until the ninth hour, I guess, or the 11th hour, where people actually, hear about what's happening. And like you said, most people, their radar is very closely tuned to what's happening right around them.
Right.
Well, we've got a minute to go, Richard. Do you want to talk about the meeting afterwards?
Well, I don't know if I can really do it in a minute, but
okay.
The 1:30 public hearing is a hearing to look at the partially recirculated final EIR for the Newman Ridge project. This is coming back after it had to be recirculated per Judge Hermanson's order, that there were 2 areas within the document and they involved traffic and circulation that had to be readdressed. As I see it, those areas have been readdressed. The opponent is asking for us to withdraw the whole EIR and re-examine every issue, and yet in their lawsuit, they only challenge the one area, the traffic and circulation. So that'll be up to the board tomorrow what their decision will be.
All right. Well, we've got to go. Thanks for Richard for coming by on that last thing. Sounds pretty interesting. Thanks for watching TSPN. We'll see you again next time.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.